Hi there, good morning everybody. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph, I am the host of this show. So we're kind of doing a recovery act here today. So this video was supposed to be out last night, but I made a couple of mistakes. I had to go somewhere, and then when I got there I didn't have what I needed, so I had to come all the way back and then go back again, and it just took forever to do these things. So by the time I got that all done and everything, I didn't have the time for the video, so we're going to do it today. And this is an episode of Who Did It Better? So this is a bit of an unusual episode. Normally I have an original and a cover, or maybe I might have a couple covers, or something along that line. On occasion I've thrown in an extra band. This time I've got 6 here, 6 covers of the same song. The original, I think it's the original cover, plus 5 other covers. I could have easily done 10. It would have been out of the realm. But I picked 5 bands that I kind of like these covers. So all of these covers I like. I've listened to them all. I like them all. They're all very different though. So the song we're talking about, and for those people who like to get the song out of the way right away, this is Baby Please Don't Go, originally done by Big Joe Williams. I believe it was back in the either early 50s or the 30s. I can't remember which one. This is a very raw, so before we get too far into it, all these are live versions of the song except for the last one. So anyways, back to where I was. Big Joe Williams was the original version. It's just him on a stage with a acoustic guitar. I think it was acoustic. It could have been electric. Very, very raw sounding, very old-fashioned bluesy sounding. His voice is good. It's pretty actually clear for the time period. I'm going to say it was in the 50s, but it might have been further back. And I thought it was a really good version. It's more choppy than the other versions. You got little bits and pieces of guitar coming in, and then the vocal part, and then more of that. So kind of breaking it up a bit. It's not particularly long either, probably 2 to 3 minutes, but pretty interesting version of the song. The next version I did was, I tried to do these alphabetically, except for the last 2. I flipped them around for a reason. Next one up is the AC/DC version of this song, which isn't on this album, but that's who we're representing, AC/DC. So this is, of course, a live version from 1975. Very rock and roll and bluesy sound to this particular track. A bit heavy on the guitar riff, and the solo is typical Angus Young solo going on here, jumping all over the place. The thing about it is you've got Bon Scott doing the vocals here, dressed as what looks like Pippi Longstocking. Not sure what they were trying to achieve there, but it's a pretty solid version of this song. More rock and roll oriented than the original version. The next version up is from this band, Aerosmith. This, of course, isn't the album it's on, but I'm just showing you them. So Aerosmith's version is a hard rock version, where compared to AC/DC, which was a rock and roll version. It's kind of have that 50s inflection in their music. This is a much more hard rock, bluesy kind of version, something you might hear from Zeppelin or something like that. Very heavy solo here. Just nothing tremendously outstanding here. I thought the live performance of it was good by Aerosmith. It's just a very heavy, hard rock sounding version of the song. The next version up comes from a band called the Amboy Dukes, which for most of you who know anything about them know that this is where Ted Nugent came from. So this version is vocally probably the mildest of all the versions. Not mild in the sense that it's quiet and you can't hear it. Mild in the sense that he's singing in a more clear sounding but laid back version of the track, and not particularly dominating here too. However, the guitar is absolutely screeching here. Very there's a bit of a psychedelic album to it. It's got a metal distorted flavor to it as well. The solo, very dominating here. Maybe the best solo of all of the versions of this song. There's absolutely killer sound to it. So that's Amboy Dukes. The next version of it is by John Cougar Mellencamp. And actually, when he did this, it was just a John Mellencamp version. Another kind of video. I don't think it's a live version. It's more of a video version of the song. This is a more commercial sounding version of the song. It's like they've taken the song, a bluesy song, and turned it into a pop song, I guess is a good way to put it. Nice clear production. The vocals are more of the focus here, as you might expect, than the guitar. The guitar is kind of laid back, not really forward in any way, shape, or form. Not a dominating part of the song, but still decent enough. But the vocals are much clearer. Maybe the best vocal version of the song, just based on the clearness of his voice. Then the last version of the song is very different from the others. This is from Budgie. Budgie's version of the song. Of course, the vocal part is very high range. Almost thought it was a child singing at points. This one has a nice solid guitar riff going on through it. It's not as heavy as you might expect coming from Budgie, but still pretty heavy. But it's the thing that made me decide on this version to put in here was the bass is much more dominant here. Very forward bass on this particular track, more so than any of the other tracks. But all these tracks have some element that's different, some elements that's same. They stick pretty much to the lyrical part very well, and they all kind of stick to the rhythm feel of the song. It's not something you wouldn't, any one of these versions you would recognize as being that song, as opposed to sometimes you get these versions where people do songs don't even sound like the original at all. There's none of that here. There's a lot of that here. A lot of good sounding stuff that kind of emulates the original, but all different versions of it, which is what you want. So I had to choose which one of these I think is the best one, or who did it better. Well, I liked all 6 versions, as I mentioned, for all those reasons I've mentioned. But when it really came down to it, the one that struck me as the one that I would like to listen to the most is the Amboy Dukes version, which, because it has a bit of a psychedelic flavor and the guitar is ripping on this particular version of it, I thought this was a very, very well done version of the song. So that's the one I'm going to do with it. So the Amboy Dukes did it better. That's my choice. If you want to listen to the songs, or if you think there's another one out there that I didn't take up that is a better version than all them, you can make mention of that in the comment section below. Or you can just rank them how you see them. I'm not going to rank them here. I like them all. But I just think that if I had to choose one, Amboy Dukes did it better. So please hit the like and subscribe. And we'll see you all again next week on Friday night this time for an episode of Who Did It Better. Take care and have yourself a good one. Goodbye here from the Prog Monster.